Welcome back to the deep dive. We take a stack of dense source material, articles, research, you name it, and we distill the absolute critical truth for you. It's your shortcut to being well informed.
Exactly.
And our mission today is mapping the job market landscape for 2026. If you've been feeling that, that generalized anxiety about AI and automation,
Oh, yeah.
you are absolutely not alone. But what our sources are suggesting, and we've got everything from Gartner to Goldman Sachs here, is that maybe that anxiety is a little misdirected.
It's a really crucial distinction, and the data, it just paints this picture of extreme divergence.
Divergence how?
Well, what we found is that traditional white-collar security, especially in roles that rely on routine cognitive tasks, think middle management, entry-level data crunchers, that's collapsing, and fast.
Okay.
But at the same time, highly specialized blue-collar trades and advanced healthcare jobs have achieved something pretty much unprecedented, true zero-risk status. So this whole discussion is about where that risk has just evaporated and what human qualities are now, priceless commodities.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the first place we have to look it's the biggest shocker, I think. The attack on the professional class, the folks sitting in cubes.
Right.
If you thought AI was just about replacing factory labor, the data says it's coming for the organization chart itself.
And we have to start with the staggering vulnerability of middle management. For decades, that title manager, director, supervisor, that was your mark of stability.
That was the goal.
It was. But a Gartner report just throws that assumption right out the window. It's predicting that by 2026, 20% of major companies, they may eliminate over half of their middle management positions.
Half. 50%.
50. A massive 50%.
In 1/5 of corporate America. That number is
Yes.
it's huge. What specific function makes them so uniquely vulnerable right now?
It's purely about efficiency and flattening the organization.
Yeah.
Middle managers often function as these necessary bottlenecks.
Right, they're the glue.
They're the glue. They track performance, they schedule tasks, generate reports. Well, AI is proving to be a cheaper, faster, and more error-free glue.
So if that routine tracking just vanishes, what happens to the human part of leadership? I mean, this isn't just about efficiency. It feels cultural. Who does the coaching, the mentoring?
That's the critical implication. The role isn't disappearing, but it's being redefined upwards.
Okay.
Only the human-centric, the strategic, the high-level leadership functions will remain, and the whole administrative layer underneath them. That's also experiencing a wipeout.
A wipeout.
Yeah. The Workplace Intelligence Report notes the steepest losses are in office support and administrative roles. It's estimating a stunning 12 million U.S. workers might need to switch occupations entirely by 2030.
We're talking about an entire class of support just disappearing because the economic calculus is...
It's irresistible. Exactly. If you look at the cost comparison, it's not hard to see why adoption is so rapid.
So what are we talking dollar-wise?
Think about AI scheduling assistants like Motion or Calendly AI, or HubSpot AI handling your CRM data. A human admin salary is what, $2,500 to $4,500 a month?
Sure, in that range.
These AI tools cost $20 to $200 a month. When you face that kind of instant ROI, the adoption curve just goes vertical.
The economic pressure is impossible to ignore. Which brings us to the next, maybe more concerning area, the tech sector itself.
Right.
For years, being a coder or an analyst was the ultimate shield. But AI is triggering a cognitive revolution, not just an industrial one. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the jobs that deal exclusively in information are now the most exposed.
That is a crucial distinction. We're moving from the cognitive laborer to the cognitive strategist. When we synthesized the Simply Learning Goldman Sachs data, we identified a pretty definitive list of entry-level tech jobs facing immediate redundancy.
Okay, so give us the specifics. What are the top high-risk tech roles?
First and foremost, entry-level software developers and programmers.
Really? The coders?
Yes. We're seeing tools like GitHub Copilot effectively become a highly capable junior programmer. It automates boilerplate code, it debugs, it writes documentation. The efficiency boost is shocking.
So one person can do the work of many.
The sources say one senior engineer with AI can now do the workload of what used to be a team of 3 or 4 juniors. That just crushes the entry-level hiring pipeline.
So the learning to code job, the actual task of writing simple code, is being automated out of existence. The value is shifting entirely to senior design, to architecture.
Precisely. To strategic problem solving. Second on the list are quality assurance testers, QA testers.
Okay, that makes sense. The manual bug finding.
It's rapidly becoming obsolete. Tools like Testim use machine learning to automatically generate and run thousands of test cases overnight. The need for a room full of people clicking through screens, it just vanishes.
And third, I have to imagine it's something to do with data, since that was the career of the future.
It still is, but only at the highest level.
Okay.
Third are junior data analysts. AI can clean, visualize, and interpret massive raw data sets in seconds. So the role's focused on manual cleaning and routine reporting. That's the bulk of entry-level work. They're now redundant.
And this risk, it extends out, right? It's not just these three roles.
No, it's accountants, auditors, legal assistants, technical writers. Microsoft's analysis of its own Copilot usage summarized it perfectly.
And what did they find?
The ability to gather and communicate information providing assistance, writing, advising is now the single most automatable human activity.
Wow. So the safest jobs are not the knowledge jobs. They're the jobs that require, what, hands-on, non-digital reality?
That realization is the critical pivot. The market is contracting severely in the cognitive middle, but stability and demand are surging in two areas that AI cannot touch.
Okay, let's pivot to that. Let's get to the good news for the listener. Where is this zero-risk security hiding?
We've identified a dual path to AI immunity. First, specialized healthcare, and second, the skilled trades, what a lot of people are calling the blue-collar renaissance.
Let's start with healthcare.
So, reports from the Economic Times and IDP highlighted roles with a certified 0% AI replacement risk.
0%. In this economy, that kind of stability is incredible. What specific jobs are we talking about?
These are high-paying, high-specialization roles. They require intense, real-time physical intervention and critical judgment. We're talking about specialist physicians in fields like anesthesia, critical care.
The ones in the room making the calls.
Exactly. Psychiatrists, nurse anesthetists, nurse midwives, and even secure support roles like phlebotomists who perform the physical task of drawing blood. You just can't automate that.
That makes perfect sense. A robot can analyze an X-ray, sure, but it can't safely administer anesthesia or manage a crisis in an OR.
And that leads right into the skilled trades boom. This is a massive structural shift. It's being driven by huge investment in physical infrastructure, clean energy, think solar installers, wind turbine techs, and reshoring supply chains.
And there's a huge need for these workers.
A desperate need. The National Association of Manufacturers reported that 600,000 manufacturing jobs were unfilled in 2025.
And that labor shortage, that's driving the real proof point, right? The wages.
Absolutely. This should grab every listener's attention. Construction and extraction roles saw an average pay increase of 8% last year. 8.
That's outpacing a lot of white-collar fields.
A lot of them. And Gen Z is catching on early. The sources note nearly half of high school grads are now considering trade schools over four-year colleges. It's debt-free, stable, and has high earning potential.
So let's synthesize this. Massive insecurity in the cognitive economy, but ironclad security in the physical and compassionate economies.
Yeah.
So what are the specific, irreducible qualities that make these jobs permanently immune?
We can basically categorize it into three core human qualities that technology cannot replicate.
Okay.
First, physical presence and hands-on intervention. The ability to physically manipulate the environment.
Right. AI can tell you how to wire a house.
But it can't be the person on the ladder twisting the copper wires. That's essential for electricians, welders, nurse anesthetists, phlebotomists. It requires dexterity and real-time physical monitoring.
It's the difference between simulating reality and actually interacting with it.
Exactly. Second is expert clinical judgment and critical thinking. Specialist physicians have to integrate complex, often ambiguous data, which AI can provide, with ethics, patient history, and human intuition.
To make life or death calls.
That's where the liability is. That's the high-value skill. You aren't paying the specialist for the algorithm. You're paying them to integrate its findings with a decade of experience.
And the third quality.
Human empathy and interpersonal skills. This is crucial for mental health, for psychiatrists, especially and for any real leadership role. AI can analyze emotional signals, but it cannot replicate human connection. It can't build trust. You can't automate compassion.
So this defines the challenge for the listener. If your job isn't immune, if you're a programmer, an analyst, a middle manager, what skills are absolutely necessary to survive? You have to become what some are calling the augmented human.
The path to relevance is really well defined. The sources offer 6 crucial skill sets that have to become mandatory.
Let's hear them.
First, digital and AI literacy. This is no longer a bonus. It's the new baseline. You have to learn how to integrate AI into your specific workflow.
And the numbers back that up.
They're stark. 66% of leaders say they wouldn't hire someone today if they couldn't demonstrate they can use AI tools.
That's a powerful mandate. If you're not using it, you're inefficient from day one.
Following that are two cognitive skills, creativity and critical thinking. AI handles the routine. Humans must now focus on the novel, the ambiguous, the non-algorithmic problems. You stop answering the questions and start asking better ones.
And linking back to that middle management crisis, the fourth skill is crucial: emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills.
Right. If the admin tasks of management vanish, the role becomes pure leadership motivating teams, resolving conflicts. AI can summarize the minutes. It can't run the meeting.
Right.
And the final trio are what keep you resilient: adaptability and continuous learning. Data-driven decision-making, which means interpreting the insights AI gives you. And finally, ethical judgment and AI governance, knowing where the AI stops and human responsibility begins.
So the ultimate takeaway here is this massive paradigm shift. The future belongs either to the worker who is immune because they're hands-on and high empathy,
Or the worker who is an AI collaborator.
right, AI won't replace you, but someone using AI will. Collaboration isn't optional anymore. It's mandatory for survival.
The landscape for 2026 is clearer than ever. White-collar workers have to master augmentation or face collapse. True long-term income stability. It now lies firmly in those specialized physical high-empathy sectors. We're seeing a fundamental revaluation of specialized manual labor.
And that revaluation is what we want to leave you with. The rise of AI is widening the skills gap, but it's also rapidly increasing the value and the cost of specialized manual labor. So if prompting and interpreting AI is becoming a baseline skill, does that mean the most valuable, the rarest commodity in the 2026 workforce isn't data crunching anymore, but the ability to deliver unautomatable, hands-on physical service? We encourage you to think about how you might integrate a zero-risk skill into your own long-term planning. Thank you for diving deep with us. We'll